everybody, and welcome to Power Pro Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross. Thanks very much for being with us. We have a great hour for you. We're going to see a Road Warriors video in this hour. We're also going to see the Blade Runners of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in action. We'll see the Fabs versus the Guerreros in a Mexican death match, one of the most physical matches ever from the Sam Houston Coliseum. Plus, we will see the Midnight Express. Of course, manager James E. Cornette will be with them. And ladies and gentlemen, a big development in the Mid-South area. Dick Slater is the new North American and television champion. He recently defeated Jake the Snake Roberts in the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas. I had the opportunity to be there on that evening and the privilege of calling the action. Let's go now to the Sam Houston Coliseum and join that match in progress. Dick Slater working on the arm of Jake the Snake Roberts in this confrontation for both major championships, single championships in the Mid-South area. And this one is no disqualification, as Slater pulls Jake in a very precarious position, and he is, as I have mentioned, has been working on the arm for quite some time now. This match for the North American Heavyweight Championship, it's also for the Mid-South Television Championship, and perhaps more importantly, it has no disqualifications, which really puts the official, Carl Fergie, in this position in a very tough spot. Slater now working on Jake the Snake Roberts. Tremendous crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Dark Journey, you can see her at the top of the screen, suspended high above the ring in a small steel cage. She's certainly not going to be able to interfere as this match progresses. It's one-on-one. That's the way both these men wanted it, especially Jake the Snake Roberts, as they're attempting to... Now, Jake Roberts, who is certainly not above resorting to questionable tactics himself, and when you get a match where the stakes are as high as this one, you really can't blame him. It's no disqualification. Slater brings Roberts back into the ring. But Roberts' right hand, but his arm, where he blocked that blow from Slater, is really taking its toll on him. Slater has been relentless throughout this matchup. Slater now setting him for the pile driver, setting Jake the Snake. There you see Dark Journey. And there is the pile driver. This may be it right here. This just may be it right here. And a near fall, a count of 2. Roberts kicks out at 2. Slater, methodical and sadistic as he stomps away. And now a very insulting slap to Jake Roberts. Slater's really inflicting a lot of, not only has he inflicted a lot of pain, but also a lot of humiliation thus far in this match. Remember, Dark Journey is suspended high above the ring in a small steel cage. This match is for both major singles championship in the Mid-South area. And Jake Roberts reverses it, and Slater's head is thrust into that top turnbuckle. Roberts massaging his arm, trying to get some feeling back into it. Remember, that's a great knee lift. Roberts got to have the arm back mobile in order to execute the DDT. Both these men agreed to a no disqualification matchup. And Jake Roberts taking his boot off, that would have been a disqualification under normal circumstances. But this certainly isn't normal, as you see Dark Journey in the cage. This match has it all on the line. Roberts with his boot off, and Slater is crowned. Jake Roberts now has turned the tide. The momentum has swung in favor of the Snake. And he has his sights set on the North American title and the television title. And I thought he was going for the DDT right there. Side Russian foot sweep by Dick Slater. Jake a little bit slow in executing the DDT. Slater, the veteran. And there you see Dark Journey has dropped something. She's dropped something out of that cage. Slater's wrapping it around his hand. Looks like a small chain. Dick Slater has been tossed something by Dark Journey, but once again, remember, this match was no disqualification and a clothesline by Jake the Snake Roberts. Dick Slater is on Dream Street. Jake Roberts now has that chain that Journey threw down to Slater. He's going to use it as a weapon, and why not? Slater throws Roberts over the top rope all the way to the floor. Once again, that would have been a disqualification under normal circumstances. Referee counting both men. Don't quite understand that. But the count continues on Jake the Snake Roberts as Dick Slater is going to jump. Slater's on the top rope. I thought he was going to jump on the outside, but no. Slater comes off the top rope. Slater has come off the top rope of Jake the Snake Roberts. That thunderous elbow in the back of the head, and we've got a winner. A new North American and television champion. It's Dick Slater from the Sam Houston Coliseum. This match was a no disqualification matchup. Jake Roberts defeated by Dick Slater, and we'll be hearing from Dick Slater, I'm sure, later in this hour. Also, the Midnight Express and Rock and Roll Express, their match has been signed for the World Tag Team titles. It'll take place in New Orleans. We'll have more information on that as well in this hour, and we'll see the Midnight Express in action right after this timeout.
Gentlemen, both these men are champions, and neither one of them has a broken hand. Loverboy Dennis and beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
As you heard the introduction from manager Jim Cornette, you heard what he said. You see the motions and what they're talking about. We said at the beginning of the program, yes, Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express has a broken hand. Now, we understand, though, that this broken hand, of course, hurts, but is not enough to keep him out of the ring. He is having a protective cast put on this hand. And Ricky Morton will be back in the ring with Robert Gibson, teaming up once again. So even though they have hurt the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express has not succeeded in separating this team at all. Only a temporary setback to Ricky Morton. Drop kick by the World Junior Heavyweight Champion Denny Brown on Loverboy Dennis. Denny Brown teamed it up with Rocky Cornetto against the World Tag Team Champions. His beautiful Bobby is in. Let us mention here also today that you saw last week gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Precious. And they'll be back with us in weeks to come right here on the Best in Wrestling. Certainly, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Precious. Quite a combination. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Just like the men you're seeing in the ring. Rocky Cornetto now with an arm on beautiful Bobby. As now they exchange punches. Bobby back to the corner. Reversal. Rocky Cornetto. Flying body press, got a 2 count. Cornetto has him hooked up again. 2 count again, and beautiful Bobby has to back up. We're going to see in a little bit Robert Gibson out here by himself in singles action. Ricky not with him here today, but like we said, a cast is being put on that hand. It's a protective cast, and he will be in action, teaming with Robert Gibson. So rock and roll fans, fear not. Cornette will tell you that rock and roll is dead, but that is not the case. Rakes across the eyes now, the junior heavyweight champion Denny Brown. The smirk and the smile. Right in the face. And as always, the banner at ringside.
What do you think about these punks now, huh? We're the World Tag Team Champions. That means a lot.
It does mean a lot, as Cornette just said. One thing it does mean that now you're the hunted instead of the hunter. We've said that before, but that really applies here. Dennis is in now. Standing clothesline on Denny Brown. And right on the forehead. They certainly are a great combination. Take nothing away from them. As you know by now, Beautiful Bobby has trademarked that spectacular flying elbow drop, set in, drop kick off of the top turnbuckle that he uses. All right, Cornette with that intimidation factor that he brings to the ring.
We're going to break another hand for Ricky Morton.
We're going to break another hand for Ricky Morton, he says. Tag is made. Denny Brown getting near his corner, but still they're working on the hand. You know, anytime, as you see Cornette in the background shaking that right hand, asking where Ricky Morton is, anytime a tennis racket is brought into the ring, something's going to happen. From what I understand, Jim Cornette's mother has filed an injunction to get the $5,000 fine stopped by the NWA. However, I understand as that vertical suplex put Denny Brown down for a two count. I understand that Betty Lou, that cage that belongs to Dusty Rhodes, has been given to the Rock and Roll Express. And maybe where the $5,000 cannot cut into Jim Cornette that much, that cage certainly will help the Rock and Roll Express a great deal. Combine that with the fact that the cage will be hoisted high in the air above the ring. And you got for a worried Cornette is Bobby, shaken up by Rocky Cornetto with an elbow. And now Dennis goes down. Cornetto taking on both men. Oh, he ran right into a neck breaker. A neck breaker applied by Beautiful Bobby. Slams him down. And now puts him face down on the mat. Beautiful Bobby up high again. With a knee on the back of the neck.
Why don't you see? What are you tagging for?
And now Dennis has him in a full Nelson somewhat. Oh, and face down on the mat again. Cornetto is down. And Tommy Young cuts him out. They're all smiles right now as they win another match.
Now, at the time that match was taped, the Midnight Express had just broken the hand of Ricky Morton. We heard those comments made throughout the match. But I've been assured by Ricky Morton himself that he will be at 100% when the Rock and Roll Express go against the Midnight Express for the World Tag Team titles coming up very soon in New Orleans. Plus, both those teams will be involved in the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. That's for $1 million. That's going to be April the 19th in the Superdome. We'll be seeing more Power Pro Wrestling and the Masked Superstar in action after this timeout from the Mid-South Network. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Today at 3 o'clock in Thibodaux, a big Mid-South event. We certainly hope you'll be with us in Thibodaux starting at 3 o'clock. 20 top stars on that card, a 6-man elimination tag in Thibodaux, and an I Quit showdown there as well. Now, tonight at 7 o'clock tonight, downtown in the Municipal Auditorium right here in New Orleans, 7 o'clock starting time, handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Boogeyman, against gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Of course, you'll have Precious at ringside. You'll see Coco Ware, the New Zealand Sheepherders. You'll see Terry Taylor challenge Dick Slater for the North American title. 10 rounds scheduled for Tate Fist. Hacksaw Duggan against Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, and inside a steel cage. The Mid-South Tag Team titles will be on the line. No disqualification. Loser leaves for 90 days. Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death Steve Williams will defend against Dick Murdoch and the Superstar, and the special referee for this match will be Killer Carl Cox. And now let's hear this from Dick Murdoch and the Superstar.
You know, you talk about stacking a deck against the Superstar and Dick Murdoch. Not only is it a cage, loser leave, but they're also bringing in a man I hate, the man I despise, The men have probably had the greatest battles in Mid-South area. Killer Carl Cox
He's crazy,
is a special
isn't he?
referee.
Is he
He's
crazy?
dangerous, Soup. He's a dangerous man.
Where do they come off with this? Why don't they put us in the cage with Carl Cox and tie our hands and then beat us up and throw us over the cage and cut us off in a U-Haul? What do you want? You want blood? You want guts? You want the stacked deck? What's going on here, Murdoch? I have no idea. I mean, you got me involved in some kind of bad situation here. I know that Carl Cox hates you.
He'll be hating you after it's over. Remember this, Cox. Put your nose where it don't belong, and I'm going to dot you with Bertha one more time.
Championship on the line, loser leave for 90 days, and Carl Cox is the referee. Let's hear this from the tag team champions.
Teddy, we know what's coming up. A cage match. No DQ.
Been there before.
Oh, you know what that is. You remember when you get the old rat cornered up into that cage? You know what that means. And these belts are up. Well, let me tell you, Murdoch and Superstar, you've got a match coming to you, pal.
You've been wanting us for a long time, Murdoch. You've been telling everybody how you're going to end my career once and for all. Well, we're going to put it in a cage. No disqualification. The belts are on the line, and the loser of this match leaves. One more stipulation. Killer Carl Cox, special referee. A lot of people don't like him, but the one thing you got to say about Cox, he's definitely unbiased, and there will be a definite winner. The winner stays and is champion. The losers hit the road. Murdoch, and that hits you right in the pocketbook where it hurts the worst.
It sounds like it's going to be wild and crazy downtown tonight, 7 o'clock at the Municipal Auditorium. In the cage, the title's on the line. Loser leave for 90 days. No disqualification. Killer Carl Cox will be the special referee for that match. Plus, Hacksaw Duggan in a tape fish showdown scheduled for 10 rounds. The match can be won by knockout or pinfall. Duggan and the Mad Dog. I'll tell you more about this one in the hour.
Superstar 2 going up against Steve Dahl from the Oklahoma City Myriad. Collar and elbow tie-up as the Superstar applies a little pressure on Steve Dahl. Dahl, of course, a fine young rookie who's making his mark here in the Mid-South, learning quite a bit and improving every day. But the Superstar 2, a seasoned veteran and a great athlete both. A good technical wrestler, as well as a good brawler, as he's proved in the ring along with his partner, Superstar 1 and Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch in their battles with Ted DiBiase and Steve Dr. Death Williams, and occasionally Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Superstar 2 with the figure 8 leg hold on Steve Dahl, but he goes up and decides to go back and put some more pressure on the arm. Coming up later in the hour, we have the third in our series of Fabulous Ones versus Chavo and Hector Guerrero matches. That match, a Mexican death match. It should be a great one. Stay with us. We'll also see the debut of the Blade Runners in a match from Tahlequah. Now look at this. The Superstar is combining a half Nelson with a rear hammerlock, and I think this is going to be it for Steve Dahl as he pulls him over and really gets a lot of leverage on him. Steve Dahl is in a bad way, but Dahl's really showing some strength here. He manages to wrestle his way out of that predicament. Looks as if the Superstar 2 had him pinned there. Really had him locked up tight. Now look, beautiful fireman's carry. Always in control of the arm, the Superstar 2. As Steve Dahl tries to leg hold on Superstar 2 to try and extricate himself from this arm bar and twist, but to no avail. Also later in the hour, we'll see a video on the Road Warriors. Superstar 2 clinging tenaciously to that arm. Now it looked there to me like he used the hair from that angle, taking advantage of referee Carl Fergie's position. There's really no reason for it. He did it anyway. Looks as if he used the hair again there, but a kick to the midsection. A solid impact into the abdominal area of Steve Dahl. And Dahl really looks to be in a lot of pain. Body slam. I'm telling you, Steve Dahl is just like a rag doll out there. Guess he could take his name literally in that instance. As the Superstar goes for a high vertical back suplex, and I think this is going to be after. No, Steve Dahl shows a lot of heart as he kicks out from the lateral press of the Superstar 2. A hard forearm to the head.
sends Dahl back down to the canvas, but Dahl's trying to fight back. He caught the Superstar in the gut with a right, but that was about all he got as the Superstar continues this onslaught. This is just annihilation as the Superstar continues to add the punishment. Steve Dahl probably should have stayed down on the mat while he had a chance, because he's certainly going to be feeling this in the morning, I can tell you. Superstar is really punishing. Dahl's trying to fight back. Cut him a few blows to the midsection, but there's that reversal, and Dahl goes for the high-risk maneuver. Nothing else seemed to work, and that sure didn't either, as the Superstar gets up and goes for the coup de grace, the clothesline, and this, as he cradles him up, I think is going to be it. Yes, the Superstar number 2 with a victory here at the Oklahoma City Marriott Center. Let's go back to Jim.
The Superstar, another double tough man in the Mid-South area, racking up a victory over young Steve Dahl. Now, in the balance of the hour here on Power Pro Wrestling, we're going to focus on tag team competition. As we've said on many occasions, coming up on Saturday, April the 19th, in the Superdome in New Orleans, the $1 million Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. It's going to feature the top 20 teams in wrestling. We're going to see Chavo and Hector Guerrero go against the fabulous ones, Stan Lane and Steve Kern, in just a few moments. That match, another in a series of matches from the Sam Houston Coliseum, is a Mexican death match. Plus, we'll see the Blade Runners. I know that Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert would like to have them in the big tournament. Plus, we'll see a video on the Road Warriors. All that yet to come in this hour. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Well, the bell hasn't sounded, and this Mexican death match is underway. The fabulous one against the Guerrero brothers, Chavo and Hector Guerrero, and this is the kind of action we expect in this tag bout. So you just hold on to your seat, and we'll call the action the way we see it. Steve Kern, Stan Lane, the fabulous ones, up against Chavo and Hector Guerrero in a Mexican death match. Real referee is Carl Fergie. My name is Peter Burkholz. Mexican death match rules: no disqualifications, no limit on the falls, a 30-second rest period in between falls. Referee Carl Fergie now explaining the rules to Bruce Thorpe.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Mexican death match.
Carl Fergie explaining the rules to the ringside announcers.
Do not count in this match and goes until one team can no longer continue.
So there you
Mexican death match, one fall to a finish.
So
Do not count, and there will be 30 seconds in between falls.
I never heard of this kind of stupid Mexican match. Let me tell you what, you can make all the Mexican rules you want. We're going to kick your butt.
well, we're having some battle of the words
There's
right
one
now.
last rule. The referee's outside the ring.
So Chavo and Hector Guerrero, they're ready now. The fans here, 10,000 strong here in the Coliseum already, as they have been explained Mexican deathmatch rules. No limit on the number of falls. And as the referee goes outside the ring, he stays outside the ring unless to call a fall. No disqualification. The absolute winner. In the ring, we have Stan Lane and Chavo Guerrero. Now, things start to settle down a little bit as both teams now realize the seriousness of this match. Mexican death match, you don't take lightly. No disqualifications. And as Stan Lane goes outside the ring, Chavo is chasing him. And back in the ring goes the fabulous one. Chavo following him. Chavo setting him up. And the drop kick works beautifully. And Chavo Guerrero That wrestling stance of his. Chavo and Hector Guerrero have been wrestling ever since they could crawl, as they've been taught wrestling by their father, the great Gory Guerrero, who's doing extremely well in El Paso as he's involved in promotion out there, the wrestling promotion. But he is mighty proud of his 3 wrestling sons, Chavo and Hector Guerrero, who you're watching in action right now, and Armando Guerrero, who is on the West Coast right now, involved in movie production. But Armando Guerrero, great wrestler himself. One thing Gory taught his sons, and that's wrestling pride, especially family pride. And when Chavo and Hector team up, that's that pride that gives them that fight and allows them to rise up to be one of the top-rated tag teams around. Chavo grabs Lane's foot, and you're going to see a lot of teamwork in this particular match. Both teams have spent a lot of time wrestling in tag team battles, and as a result, they are good, and they are experienced, and they know when to tag their partner, as they have worked out strategies in hundreds of matches, and so many times, especially in the case of these 4 men, when they wrestle as a team, many times they're wrestling as one because they know each other's moves so well. So the referee outside the ring, and he's doing his best to keep the match under control from that position. And as Stan Lane swings with the right, he misses Chavo, uses that atomic drop, and tags his younger brother Hector. I'd like to remind you that Houston Wrestling returns to the Sam Houston Coliseum this coming Friday night, Friday, January 31st, right at Sam Houston Coliseum. We have 10,000 plus here. We turned away thousands of people tonight who are enjoying the match. And we urge you that if you enjoy watching wrestling on television, you'll enjoy it even more in person. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your neighbors. But come down to the Coliseum, the home of Houston Wrestling, and where the professional wrestling is the most exciting around. So Hector uses the tight. Remember, there's no disqualification. We almost had to use a little bit of censorship, but there's no disqualification on 1, 2, 3. So the winner of the first fall, remember there's no limit on number of falls in this Mexican death match are the Guerrero brothers, Chavo and Hector Guerrero. Carl Fergie came in the ring, they're called a fall, and that's what he did, and a 30-second rest period is now being followed through.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
That's the bell, the second fall. This Mexican death match is underway. Carl Fergie starts to count. The man down has to the count of 10. Stan Lane, who's still feeling the effect of that atomic drop. Hector uses a backdrop, quickly tags Chavo, as we're seeing some excellent teamwork on the part of the Guerrero brothers. They have been successful in keeping Lane away from his partner, Steve Kern. At the same time, they've been successful, and as Chavo's on top, we got 1, we've got 2, but no 3. Chavo is a big man to pick up, but Chavo did it nicely. Again, 1 short of the 3 count. Stan now throws Chavo into the corner to the waiting Steve Kern, and you saw what Kern did with that opportunity. So Steve Kern outside the ring, driving a boot to Chavo. Lane makes the tag. And as Steve Kern rips across the face of Chavo Guerrero. Kern now continues. Now he chomps down on Chavo's head. As the Fabulous Ones, great reputation for their rugged, tough ability and their high-flying style, but also they know how to bend the rules, and they make no bones about it. They want to do anything that's going to win. And they know that by defeating the Guerreros in a Mexican death match would be a giant feather in their cap as they continue their drive for the Mid-South Tag title and belt, currently held by the popular team of Ted DiBiase and Steve Dr. Williams. The Fabulous Ones, both jumping up on Chavo. Carl Fergie in the ring now. He has to step out. And Stan Lane chomping down on Chavo. That Chavo Guerrero, he's cut open from that recent attack by the Fabulous One. Up and punishing back suplex. Stan Lane picked Chavo up way up in the air and crashed him to the mat. And now the choking. Remember, this is a no disqualification match. Hector shouting advice out to Chavo. Stan driving in that grip on the throat. Chavo doing his best to fight. One punch after another, and he was able to break loose, but he's going to the wrong corner, and that was a bad mistake on the part of Chavo.
We'll be back with Pete Burkholz calling the action from the Sam Houston Coliseum and more of the Mexican Death Match right after this timeout from the Mid-South Network.
Saturday night. But he missed with a guillotine drop. He misses again as Hector trying to find some relief, some moment, some chance to go into the corner and tag Chavo, and that's what he did. And Chavo coming to the aid of his brother as both Fabulous Ones are in the ring, and Chavo is taking care of both of them. And this is what the Guerreros needed. They needed to get Chavo in the ring and get Hector some kind of relief. We've got all four men, and there's nothing to stop all four men because the referee's got to stay outside the ring. Guerrero drive their heads together. And you can hear the thud all the way out here at ringside when those two blonde-headed individuals will ram head on. You see Chavo working over Kern, and over in the corner right above us, we've got Hector working over Lane, and we've got the 10,000 fans strong cheering the Guerreros on. A Mexican death match. So much is riding on this match. So much has already happened. As the camera's following the action between Hector and Lane, now that's a good shot showing you that it's happening between all four men. Carl Fergie, even if he was in the ring, I don't know if he'd be able to keep this tight match under control when he doesn't have the power of disqualification. So Hector still working over Lane, unaware of the fact that Kern came over the chair, and did you hear the smash of that metal chair across Hector again? And he is punishing and driving that metal chair into Hector. Stan Lane is holding him. Steve Kern is using that chair, and Hector is on a bad way. Now he aims that chair above the throat and driving it into Hector. No disqualifications, and the Fabulous Ones are taking full advantage of it. Carl Fergie trying to get that chair out of there, but with no disqualifications, he's having very little effect. We've got Kern down, and then Chavo decides to fight fire and fire. He starts to chase him with a chair. So Chavo now chase him up the aisle. The Fabulous Ones have left the ringside. As Carl Fergie now starts to administer the count. The Fabulous Ones better make their way back to ringside. It doesn't look like they're coming back. We got the bell. We got the bell. And as Hector lays hurt on that mat, the result of that chair being used by the Fabulous Ones.
Ones will return
So there's still a 30-second rest period. That wasn't the end of the match. That was strictly the end of fall number 8 or 9. It's hard to keep track when you start getting that many falls. As the fans here looking towards the area that the Fabulous One exited to see if he's going to come back. 15 seconds left in the rest period. No sign of the Fabulous One. The bell sounds. Carl Fergie now starts to administer the count. 2, and this is 10,000 fans chant along with them. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Guerreros win the Mexican Death Match.
This match got awfully wild and crazy in the San Houston Coliseum. Chavo and Hector Guerrero victorious. Now the Fabulous Ones were counted out, and they lost the fall. They had 30 seconds to get back into the ring. They refused to do so. The referee's only alternative was to award the victory to the Guerreros, a good decision by the official. Now Chavo Guerrero was incensed over this whole ordeal during this match. They suffered a lot of punishment, a lot of pain and agony from the Fabulous Ones. He's challenged either one of those gentlemen to a paint match. And we'll have that paint match for you right here next week on Power Pro Wrestling. Now, we're going to focus on another tag team combination in just a few moments. They're big, they're very impressive, and they're awfully young, and they're managed by Hot Stuff. We'll have a special look at the Blade Runners right after this timeout.
Tracy, I think, is going to need more than the fan support to get out of this situation as the Blade Runner goes up for an elbow. Arm whip. Oh, man. Blade Runner with tremendous impact on Tracy Smothers. Tracy's going to have a sore rib cage after this match is over, I can assure you. The Blade Runner goes to the reverse chin lock. As you can see, his knee is buried deep in the upper spinal column of Tracy Smothers, which is excruciating in itself. The Blade Runner's hammering Smothers with forearms in the corner, and Smothers has really taken a lot of punishment. I think this has got to be it for Tracy. Well, no, he kicks out. Tracy Smothers kicks out and fires off a right on the Blade Runner, a kick to the midsection. He's trying to keep his distance from this Blade Runner and trying to make the tag to Ricky Gibson. I think the only hope that these two men have, Smothers and Gibson that is making the quick tags and trying to keep one of the Blade Runners in their half of the ring, which of course is your classic tag team strategy, but these two men thus far in the match have not really been able to keep that up. Oh, another clothesline by the Blade Runner. Tracy Smothers gets a boot deep in the midsection and the back. Tracy is really being punished. Smothers comes off with a kick. Tracy Smothers has a lot of heart. Body slam. Tag into Ricky Gibson now, and the fans are loving it. Ricky firing up on these two men. He's hitting them with everything he has. Drop kicks, rights and lefts. He has them going. The Blade Runners look to be in trouble, but all four men are in the ring. And referee Tommy Gilbert's going to have to get this thing settled down before any kind of official decision could be reached. I think the momentum they got from Ricky is going to be hurt by the fact that all four men were in the ring. As we see him execute a double backbreaker, one of the Blade Runners a little bit off balance. But the move was effective nonetheless as the Blade Runner, both of them gained a victory here in Tahlequah at the Northeastern State University Redmond Fieldhouse. These two men are awesome. Let's go back to Jim Ross in the studio.
The Blade Runners with Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert victorious. That match taking place from the Redmond Fieldhouse in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. The big Mid-South benefit there. A capacity crowd turned them away in Tahlequah at that event. Blade Runners are a very, very massive team, and I think they've got a great future. And under Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert's guidance, if I can use that term, they may go a long way in this profession. I know he would like to have them in that $1 million tournament. We'll just have to keep a look on that situation, and we'll let you know as the weeks progress. One team that will most definitely be in the $1 million tournament, the Road Warriors. We'll see a special video on them right after we come back from our final Mid-South timeout. Night, 7 o'clock. It's going to be rocking and rolling downtown at the Municipal Auditorium starting at 7 o'clock right here in New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. The North American title will be on the line. Terry Taylor challenges this man, Mr. Unpredictable, Dick Slater.
How does it feel, Jenny, to be with the man that has it all?
Feels great.
The TV title, the North American title. Dick Slater, the man that rules. The man that has it all. The number one contender, Jake Roberts, is gone. And now, Terry Taylor, you fall into that category in professional wrestling as being the number one contender. But being a contender and being a champion is two different things. Now, Terry Taylor, one time you held the North American title around your waist, but you didn't ever wrestle Dick Slater for it. Now that I am the champion, Terry Taylor, you're going to have to chase me for what you want real bad. But Dick Slater plans on being everything he always has been.
Well, Terry Taylor is geared up. He is ready to go. Now, Terry's also going to be in Thibodeau today at 3 o'clock. Well, let's hear his comments about tonight's match.
Professional wrestling is the most competitive sport in the world today. And sometimes you have to make decisions that aren't too popular with the people. You have to do things that the people don't like. Well, nobody wanted to see me wrestle Jake Roberts, but I told everybody here when I first got here, I was here after that North American title. And I told you how it was. I was going to go through anybody that got in my way. And Jake Roberts, we had a clean wrestling match, and I did come out on top, so I'm the number one contender. Now, the person behind all this, the person that forced it to happen, is Dick Slater. He's getting to be just a little bit desperate. Because, Slater, you saw it slipping away, and I'll be the first one to pat you on the back because you beat a heck of a man in Jake Roberts. You sure did. But you're going to find out it's going to get tougher and tougher every day you have that title. Because I'm going to be breathing down your neck, and I'm going to keep coming after you until I get what's rightfully mine, and that's that title. Slater, you think it's been tough before. You've never had anybody on your tail like Terry Taylor's going to be.
It's all going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday night, 7 o'clock. That's tonight, downtown Municipal Auditorium. Inside the steel cage, no disqualification. The loser leaves for 90 days. Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death go against Dick Murdoch and the Superstar, and Carl Cox, the Killer, will be the referee. Tape fist, 10 rounds. Hacksaw Duggan against Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. Terry Taylor, Dick Slater, handsome Jimmy Valiant, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Now, let's hear this. Saturday night, April 19th, the Superdome will be the site of the biggest live wrestling event in history. See in person the top 20 teams in wrestling compete for a $1 million prize in the first Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. Teams signed and scheduled to compete live in the Dome include the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, the Road Warriors, the Mid-South Tag Champions, the Russians, and much more. These great teams, along with the many others, will battle for the $1 million prize live in the Dome. Tickets for this event go on sale at all Ticketmaster outlets on Monday, March 10th. Get your tickets early. Area very, very soon with a tremendous Mid-South event. Now, next week here on Power Pro Wrestling, we'll see the Road Warriors in action. We'll also see Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express, and tag team competition. Both those teams, as you know, will be in the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament in the Superdome in New Orleans. We'll also have, in upcoming weeks, great videos that Joe Watts is in the process of producing at this point in time on Ted DiBiase and Dr. Death, and on the Blade Runners. It'll be something you see in the Superdome, the Blade Runners versus the Road Warriors. It might be a dandy. And ladies and gentlemen, a lot more coming your way next week. Don't forget the paint match, Chavo Guerrero versus one of the Fabs. We'll have that for you next week here on Power Pro Wrestling. It's going to be another great hour. We certainly appreciate you joining us, and we're going to close the hour with a very special look at the Road Warriors. Here's the Road Warrior video for our whole crew in Power Pro Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross. Once again, thanking you so very much for being with us. We'll see you next week, everybody.